It was a love so powerful that it defied the laws of life and death. A love that descended into the darkest depths of the underworld to bring back what was lost. This is the story of Orpheus and Eurydice, a tale of passion, heartbreak, and the ultimate sacrifice. But did Orpheus' love save Eurydice, or was his fate tragic all along? Orpheus was no ordinary man. Son of the god Apollo and the muse Calliope, he possessed a gift that could move even the hardest of hearts, his music. His lyre, given to him by his father, was said to enchant anyone who heard it. Birds would stop in mid-flight, rivers would still, and even the trees would seem to sway to his melodies. But while Orpheus was loved by all, his heart belonged to one person, Eurydice, a beautiful nymph whose presence filled Orpheus's life with joy and inspiration. Their love was pure, the kind poets speak of, until tragedy struck, and the light of their love was plunged into the dark realm of death. One fateful day, as Eurydice wandered through a meadow, she came across a snake hiding in the grass. With one bite, her life was cut short. The venom coursed through her veins, and before she could scream, Eurydice collapsed and succumbed to death. Orpheus was devastated. His world shattered as the love of his life was taken from him in an instant. But Orpheus was not one to give up so easily. Overcome with grief and despair, he made a fateful decision to enter the underworld and bring Eurydice back to life. Orpheus's descent into Hades was not just a walk through the physical realms. It was a test of the soul. Armed only with his lyre, he ventured into the dark and treacherous world of the dead, a place where no mortal should enter. Along the way, he encountered terrifying creatures, rivers that separated life from death, and spirits that could never return to the world of the living. Yet wherever Orpheus played his lyre, even the tortured souls of the underworld were soothed. The three-headed dog Cerberus, guardian of the gates of Hades, lay down in peace. Charon, the ferryman of the river Styx, allowed Orpheus to pass, moved by the sadness in his music. Finally, Orpheus reached the throne room of Hades and Persephone, rulers of the dead. Orpheus stood before Hades and Persephone and played his saddest and most haunting melody yet. His music spoke of love, loss, and the unbearable agony of being separated from a loved one. Even the gods of the underworld, notorious for their coldness, were moved by his appeal. Hades offered Orpheus a chance. Eurydice could return with him to the land of the living, but on one condition. As they walked back to the surface, Orpheus must not look at her until they both reached the world above. It was a test of faith. If Orpheus turned to look at Eurydice too soon, she would be lost to the underworld forever. With hope in his heart, Orpheus began the long climb from the underworld, his beloved Eurydice walking silently behind him. The path was steep, dark, and dangerous, but Orpheus played his lyre to calm his doubts. However, as they neared the surface, fear consumed him. What if Hades had deceived him? What if Eurydice was not really after him? His resolve wavered. As they reached the light of day, Orpheus, in a moment of weakness, turned to look at Eurydice. For a brief, agonizing moment, their eyes met. But then, she was torn from him, pulled back into the darkness of the underworld, her final scream echoing in his ears. Orpheus was left alone, his love lost forever. Orpheus never recovered from the loss of Eurydice. He wandered the earth, his music now filled with sadness and longing. Some say his music could even make the gods weep. His tragic end came when the Maenads, frenzied followers of Dionysus, tore him apart in their madness. But even in death, his soul was reunited with Eurydice